Hey Mommy Brainers, welcome to another episode of Fully Informed. And I know I said I was going to talk about induction, but today I'm actually going to be talking about the size of your pelvis versus the size of your baby, and can babies be too big? Before I jump into the content though, I wanted to invite you guys to join our new Facebook group called Mommy Brain Chatter. It's a group for moms only, and it's a non-judgmental, friendly group where we can talk about whatever is on your mind: breastfeeding, baby wearing, sleeping, whatever's going on. If you have rants, questions, fears, just want to connect, whatever it is, absolutely go join our group. I put the link down in the description, so let's jump right into the content. There is a huge amount of information out there on your baby size and your pelvis size and whether that means you can have a vaginal birth or not. And I'm going to summarize it for you, but if you want to read a lot more information, there are two links down in the description on pelvic disproportion and on induction and C-section for your baby being too big. The first thing I want to say is what scenarios would imply that your baby might actually be too big for your pelvis. We have two issues here. We have the size of your pelvis and the size of your baby. So let's talk about the size of your pelvis first. What could inhibit your baby from passing through your birth canal? These things include if you were severely malnourished as a child. This actually used to be a huge problem in our country and in our world. Malnutrition, rickets played a huge part in just pelvises not developing well as a child, and therefore not being able to expand during childbirth. But that is not usually the case. If it is your case, then that's definitely something to mention to your doctor. Other things would be pelvic injury or surgery, or perhaps some defects that might happen in your lower back pelvis area might create a harder time for your baby to pass through despite your baby's size. So that is something also to talk about with your doctor. People with scoliosis or repairs on their hips and pelvis, fractures, old fractures, things like these can play a part in your baby passing through your birth canal. So what about if your hips are just really small? Perhaps you're very petite and you just don't see a baby being able to pass through your very petite body. Now, this would be, once again, SPD or sphylopelvic disproportion. This is a rare thing, but it can happen, but it's rare. So keep in mind that that is the case and that your body will likely grow a baby big enough for you to pass through your birth canal. So this should be very encouraging. What about if your baby is big? What would lead to a baby being big? And even very large babies can be born vaginally. I mean, up into the teens, so we're talking 13, 14 pounds, have been born vaginally without issue to the mother or the baby. This can happen though, and is more of a reason someone might induce if you do have gestational diabetes and your baby is looking very large. However, remember that ultrasounds aren't very clear on baby size and oftentimes can misdiagnose a baby being too large, or even SPD. It can misdiagnose all of those things. Having a big baby is actually less dangerous than having a doctor who suspects the big baby. And here are some interesting percentages to tell you. In mothers who had large babies, who did not know they were going to have a large baby, 14% of them were induced, 17% of them had a C-section, and only 4% of them had maternal complications. In women who were told that they were going to have a big baby and were told to expect complications, 42% had inductions, 57% had C-sections, and 17% had maternal complications. So this is a huge difference. That means if your doctor is telling you that your baby's too big, perhaps they did an ultrasound, perhaps they just looked at you and assumed, ask about it. Look into it a little bit more, and do not let it get to your head. Unless, of course, you have medical reasons. Now, that aside, medical reasons that we talked about in the beginning of the video aside, definitely look into it. Don't jump into a C-section. Don't jump into an induction, and don't defeat yourself before you've even begun. Really read up on it. And once again, I will link the information down below. But definitely encourage yourself, study up on your size of your baby versus the size of your body, and have faith in your body. Your body was made to give birth to this child. Medical circumstances aside, you can do it. I had a quite large baby myself, and if you have any questions, concerns, please leave them below in the comments, and I will see you in a couple days. Bye.